All right, welcome everybody to Learn It Live. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to introduce our guest speaker today. So it's Tyler Masters. He's the program manager with Western Community Energy. So Tyler is a director at WRCOG, which is the Western Riverside Council of Governments. And that's a joint powers authority consisting of 18 cities in the County of Riverside and Eastern and Western Municipal Water Districts, and the Riverside County Superintendent of Schools. So with over 10 years of experience leading energy programs at WRCOG, Tyler's responsibilities include the development and operations of WRCOG's energy programs, including the Regional Streetlight Program, Western Riverside Energy Partnership, and the Western Community Energy Program, the subregion's local electric service provider. So Tyler also received his baccalaureate in urban and regional planning from California Polytechnic University, Pomona, and Masters of Public Administration from California Baptist University. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Tyler.
Hi, thank you for having me, Heather. Thank you. Yes, my name is Tyler Masters. I'm the director of Western Community Energy, and I am pleased to have been invited to this month's Learn It Live. I would like to take the next 20 minutes or so to be able to provide you a little information about your neighborhood power authority. That's us, Western Community Energy, or WCE for short. But before I get started, I'd like to see if we can share a short 28-second video or so that you may have heard or seen on our YouTube and Pandora platforms recently. Next slide, please, Heather. Let me try to play this.
Difficult changes from the way we work, the way we learn, and even how we connect with one another. It's up to us as a community to support local businesses, empower education, and help those of us who may be struggling. This is what Powered by the Community means. Western Community Energy works with residents and businesses to save money and support those who power us. Western Community Energy, powered by the community.
I hope you enjoyed that video. Now let's go ahead and get into the good stuff, shall we? Next, thank you. WCE is an energy program enabled by state law that allows cities or groups of cities to come together and purchase electricity on behalf of its communities, and in our case, you providing that electricity at a cost competitive rate. WCE launched in April and May of 2020, providing electric service to residents and businesses within 6 cities in Western Riverside County, and we're governed by our board of directors, which is comprised of local elected officials from each of our members, providing local control, accountability, transparency to the development of Western Community Energy. One of the main guiding principles is providing you an option on where you get your electricity and how much you pay for it, an option you hadn't previously received. We're pleased to be able to provide cleaner electricity at a discount to other options. Next slide, please. I guess the first question is, how it works, right? WCE purchases electricity on your behalf and then partners with Southern California Edison to deliver that electricity through their wires and their infrastructure to you, the customer. You, at the end of the day, are the ones that benefit from affordable, cleaner energy at a discounted rate. With well over 90% participation, next slide, please. With well over 90% participation, WCE currently serves 110,000 customers in the cities of Eastvale, Hemet, Jurupa Valley, Norco, Paris, and finally Wildomar. Next slide, please. So, what's the value of WCE? We launched, 2 weeks after COVID-19 was declared a global pandemic, and now more than ever, saving money on bills, quite honestly, is important. Since May, WCE has saved its customers well over $3.7 million on their utility bill since launch. We're very happy about that. More specifically for the city of Wildomar communities, residents, businesses, We are estimated to save a little over $420,000 to all of you every year on your bills, which is an average reduction in utility bills by, you guessed it, 2%. But in addition to that cost savings, WCE strives to reinvest into the community and bring additional value to our customers by doing a number of things. First and foremost, providing micro sponsorships to our local community parent-teacher association, because we understand, quite honestly, the impact that COVID has had on the educational community. There are more families learning and working from home nowadays. We also participate and support various community event groups, just like the Wildomar Murrieta Chamber of Commerce, which we are a proud member of. We also actively engage in the community through social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram. We have a couple of posts every week. We hope you've been able to see a couple of those. If not, if you haven't had the opportunity, please, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to get some of that information and to receive some of the tips and tricks that we're sending out on a weekly basis. Next slide, please. WCE also provides you, again, choices on what type of energy you use to power up your home or office and how much you pay for that electricity. Set on an annual basis, we offer two options for every rate, our Choice Plan and our Choice Plus plan. Our default Choice Plan comes at a 2% discounted rate, and the electricity purchased for this rate comes from 37% renewable sources, wind, solar, hydro, etc. We also have found that some customers appreciate the option of knowing that 100% of their electricity that powers their home or office comes from a renewable source. Those individuals can elect to opt up to our voluntary Choice Plus plan if they so desire. That additional plan does come at a 1 cent per kilowatt hour premium, but we do note that there are a lot of businesses out there that have policies to do things like install solar or to purchase electricity from cleaner sources. So in many cases, that Choice Plus plan can help to meet those business needs. Next slide, please. We understand, though, that change is difficult. Whether it's a pair of new shoes or a new electric service provider, you want to just make sure they, either one are comfortable and an affordable fit, quite honestly. So as such, we have developed an online bill comparison tool and calculator that allows our customers to a simple self-service option to compare their usage, their rates, and their overall bill costs by comparing various options. The image on this slide shows a sample Wildomar small business customer that used about 3,300 kilowatt hours during the cooler month of November. As you can see in the picture on the right, this customer used about 700 kilowatt hours during the mid-peak portion of the day, which is 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., about 1,100 kilowatt hours during the off-peak time of the day, which is 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., and in the final 1,500 kilowatt hours during super off-peak, which is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., which is also the time of the day when solar is most prevalent on the grid and electricity is the most and when also electricity is most abundant in cooler winter months. This is all set on a November billing month, which is a winter rate. The calculator will help you identify where on your bill you can find each of these pieces of information. There's little question marks that you can hit along the way to find on your bill, so that you can plug it into the calculator. And once you hit the calculate button, this tool will calculate the rate and all of the options available to you. Spoiler alert on this: the customer saved about 2% on their bill. This tool was developed and released just a few short weeks ago. We hope it will be a useful tool for you to use to estimate and budget your utility costs and savings throughout the year. Next slide, please. Thank you. In addition to our self-service options like the bill comparison tool that you just saw, WC has a dedicated staff to perform additional assessment and analyses of your bills and our rates to help you maximize the value and savings as part of your participation in Western Community Energy. I've included Don Reese's information on this slide. Please reach out to him if you need or want any of these additional services that we can provide for you. Don is also joining me on this call. So once we get to the Q&A portion of the show, I might phone a friend and call him up to help support me answering some of your questions as well. Next slide, please. So we launched 8 short months ago at the start of COVID and have navigated through the hottest summers on record and have received in that time a number of common frequently asked questions that I'd like to share with you before we open questions up to the larger audience. Next slide, please. Firstly, the question that we've received most since launch in April and May is, what does my bill look like as a WCE customer? It is virtually the same with some small changes. Our partner, Southern California Edison, continues to bill our joint customers, but new to the bill includes a line item on the bottom of the summary page, as you can see in this picture, a separate line item for WCE generation charges, as noted there. So there was one line item before, now there's 2. Edison and WCE now are both going to be on that bill. Next slide, please. The next question is, okay, great, but is WCE, the question that we received quite a bit of actually is WCE an additional or duplicative charge on my bill? And the answer is no. Your bill has historically always been made up of 2 general portions. The first is for generation, which is the cost of electricity. And then the second is for delivery, which is the cost to transmit and deliver that electricity. WCE simply replaces SCE's generation portion of that bill now that we purchase electricity on your behalf. As part of that, WCE does have a new page on your bill. I think it's the last page, I think page 6 on your bill, that does go into great detail the generation rates and the additional what those generation rates are. Again, it's not an additional charge or an additional cost. It is a replacement cost, and that replacement cost is that discounted rate, as I mentioned numerous times previous. Next slide, please. This was one of the most common questions that we received after launch, because this year has been an unprecedented year. Unfortunately for us, obviously, we launched right after COVID again was declared a global pandemic. We entered into summer months, and we had 3 of the hottest summer months on record. I think last I looked, November was actually the warmest November month worldwide on record. So it's been a pretty warm year. So there have been a number of unavoidable and unexpected events since WCE launched. But there have been there have been a couple of questions and a couple of responses to why bills have been going up. We have, first and foremost, COVID stay-at-home orders have made it commonplace for you, our customers, to be in their home most of the day when 12 months ago they would be at work using electricity there. So with young families being at home most of the day, working from home, virtually attending school, using more electricity, turning on more lights more throughout the day, we have seen electricity consumption in residential areas go up. Couple that with record-breaking summer heat waves and weather events that we haven't, the likes we haven't ever seen before. A lot of us were using our air conditioning units quite a bit more to stay cool and comfortable. Additionally, in April and May and June of this year, around about the time that we launched, the state was providing what is called a California climate credit on all utility customers' bills. So this was going on Edison's bill, on WCE's bill, everyone the same. So unfortunately, if once that climate credit came off of the bills in July, and we were all looking at our bills, comparing July to the previous couple of months, there was that increase because that credit was no longer being effectuated or seen on your utility bill. So that it looked like it went up a little bit from there. Also, we start going into summer months, and every year rates change from summer to winter rates. So the delivery charges of those rates do increase as you transition from winter to summer in June. Luckily for us now, we're in December. A couple of months ago, we've transitioned now back to winter rates, so that delivery charge has gone down to the appropriate winter rates. Now that said, even as we transition from summer and winter rates, the WCE generation portion of the bill has always stayed the same. Next slide, please. One of the questions that we've gotten quite a bit of as well, what if I have solar? If I have solar, can I participate in WCE? And the answer is yes. In fact, as a solar customer, you'll benefit from the discount that we provide to all of our customers. That discounted rate will apply to you just the same. Additionally, however, if you're one of those solar customers whose solar systems actually produce more electricity than you or your family use, you will be eligible for a larger compensation rate at the end of the year. So basically, our net energy metering or solar rate is set up and will be paid out annually every year. And what this does is it gives our customers the opportunity, starting in October, to build up their generation credit during the cooler months, during the cooler fall and winter months, when you don't have to run your AC. And then come the warmer summer months, you can then draw down on that credit, use that credit because it always rolls over during those summer months. And whatever's left over again back in October, you can either do one of two things with. If you continue to have a surplus, you can roll that over into the next year as a credit, or we can cut you a check for the difference. You have that choice. If you have over $100 in credit, we can cut you a check, and that's a happy holidays check, so to speak. Next slide, please. So as a customer of WCE, can I participate in Southern California energy programs? The answer is yes. A lot of the programs that you were able to participate in as a customer of Southern California Edison, you can still participate as a customer of WCE and SCE. A number of those programs that we have a lot of in our subregion are income qualified programs, various energy efficiency rebates that Southern California Edison offers, and summer discount plans. We presented this item to the Wildomar City Council a couple of weeks ago, and there was a question here: are there any programs that are not offered by WCE currently that SCE does have? And we did find one that did not carry over, and that was the smart thermostat program. So if it's really hot, the last couple of months there have been a number of flex alerts. If there's a flex alert, typically the state is asking all utility customers to throttle down their energy usage. There are smart thermostat programs out there that would give control of the utility to kind of help you throttle that down. So Western Community Energy does not have a smart thermostat program, but what we have done instead is those folks that were used to participating in the smart thermostat program and are now customers of WCE, we have provided that incentive that would have been provided to them through Southern California Edison. We've provided that incentive for the first 2 years. As we begin developing our own energy programs and potentially our own smart thermostat program, we wanted to make sure that we included those customers so that we could enroll them at a later date. So those customers are still getting that incentive that they would have under the program with Southern California Edison. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, who do I contact if I have specific questions on my bill? We have a call center. That's that 866 number on the screen. You can also email us at customerservice@westerncommunityenergy.com. We have also shown Dawn's contact information. So if you have specific rate analysis questions, or you'd like your your bills analyzed, please reach out directly to our staff, and we'd be happy to get that information for you. The call center is open Monday through Friday. If you do call on the weekends or after hours, there's one of those interactive systems that you can play with, or you can just leave a message and we'll call you back the next day. Next slide, please. So how do I stay up to date with WCE? Again, we have our call center. You can visit us on our website at westerncommunityenergy.com. That's where our bill comparison tool is housed. You can also follow us on social media. We are active on Facebook and Instagram. So if you have any questions, please respond to any one of those posts or contact us directly. We'd be happy to talk with you further. Next slide, please. And that concludes my presentation. These are all of our staff's direct contacts. We would welcome you to write them down, take a snapshot of them, and as you start looking at your bills, please feel free to reach out to us if you have any specific questions. I'd be happy to answer any questions or comments as we have received them.
All right. Thank you so much for your presentation. I definitely learned a lot. So I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. So if you do think of any, for those that are watching, please drop them in the chat. But as I was watching, I have some questions actually. So what is the best way for people to stay involved with Western Community Energy, or keep up to speed with any program information, that kind of stuff?
Great question. Thank you. So one of the reasons that we one of the goals of having an electric service provider kind of locally operated provides our board of directors kind of being able to have good direct conversations with their communities, and then providing their community's input directly to us, so that we can develop Western Community Energy and tailor it, quite honestly, to our subregion. So that local representation of our elected officials on our board of directors really ensures that we're able to, meet the needs of all of our customers, our communities, and our city's representatives, and who they're representing. In order, to be able to follow us, there's a number of different opportunities. Again, we're on social media. We're pretty active on social media. If you have a question, you can reach out to us through either of those platforms. Facebook or Instagram are probably the two that we're on the most. But we also, as part of us being kind of a local government ourselves, we do have, we have our monthly board of directors meetings, which are open to the public, just like, the city council meetings are. Those are published, all the agendas and the minutes and, the recaps are all published on our website. So all of that, is transparent. So anyone can go on there and follow us that way. You can participate in our board meetings if you'd like. You can listen in on them. You can participate as a member of the public. There's opportunities there. You can also sign up to just be alerted whenever our agendas come out, or whenever we're sending out additional information to our board, or to any of our interested contact lists and listservs.
Awesome. When are those monthly meetings?
Those are the second Monday, second Wednesday of every month.
Okay, awesome. So everybody who's interested can put that on their calendars. I was also thinking, because you were mentioning you guys, kicked off this program right when all the craziness started, what a way to really you're born into fire, right? No.
Yeah.
So what do you guys is there anything that you are doing that can help during COVID, or what are you guys doing with in regards to that?
Good question. So we continue to look for COVID relief opportunities on a very frequent basis. Because we do understand, how our subregion and our quite honestly, the 6 cities and beyond have been impacted by COVID. Everyone has been impacted by COVID on a global scale. We were unlucky enough maybe to launch right after it was declared a global pandemic, but hindsight's always 2020. We have been working on launching WCE and working on feasibilities of it for years prior to that. So we really had no opportunity to push it out. But we are continuing to look for relief and support opportunities. One of the items that we're going to be working on, we're actually working on jointly with Southern California Edison. It has not the prettiest name, but it's called the Arrearage Management Plan. And basically what this resource and this offering will provide, actually come mid-January, it will provide some COVID support and relief for those that have been impacted by COVID that are also income qualified. So if you're on, for example, a CARE or FARA income qualified rate, and you have over $500 outstanding on your bill, you can apply for this AMP plan. It sounds better that way. This AMP plan, and then as long as you are staying current on your bill, your outstanding balance will be chipped away and it will begin disappearing. So after, basically the intent is if you're current on your bill at the end of 12 months, your outstanding debt will be, erased.
Oh, nice. That's really good. I mean, all the help that people can get, especially during these times. Very cool. And is there information on that on your website for those that are interested in it? Or where can they kind of read a little bit more or apply for that?
There's nothing on our website yet, but once we do get closer, we're still working on the finer details with our partners, with Southern California Edison. Once we get closer to the launch of that, we will be developing press releases that will get out through our cities, and we'd love to partner with the Chamber of Commerce on that to help get the word out there. We will also take heavy to social media to get the word out and really try to penetrate the folks through social media to try to get that word out there as well. We will have it on our website under our news section of our website once we do have more information that we can share on the application process and how to do all of that.
Excellent. Yeah, we would be happy to get that out there for you as well. And that's why you guys should sign up for updates so that you can know about it. Last question for you guys. So I know you touched on what their new bills look like, even though they come from Edison, Southern California Edison, all the line items. So how can, Western Community Energy customers better understand their overall bill, all the charges, and then what's the best way for them to identify the potential savings that they receive when they're participating in the program?
Sure. Yeah, you can only get so much out of a 20 or 27 minute PowerPoint presentation, but what we have gone ahead and done to build that out a little bit more on our website, we do have a understanding your bill section of our website, and instead of just the one picture that I showed of that summary page, it actually has kind of a page by page breakdown on what you could expect, how you can expect your bill looks different now than, for example, it did in January of 2020. So it can walk through kind of all of the moving pieces and differences in the bills, which isn't a lot, but it explains that a little bit more than I was able to provide in this PowerPoint presentation. But also, driving that point home that now we have a tool as you're looking at your savings and what as you're budgeting what your energy costs will be the remainder of this year and next year. We do have that online bill comparison tool and calculator that you can use. And I hadn't mentioned it before. That's also on our website. I did mention that. But what I didn't mention before is you don't need any sort of customer specific information. You can play and tool around with the tool. Didn't mean to say that, tool around with the tool, but tool without having to provide any sort of confidential information. You can just kind of plug and play random numbers and just to kind of estimate what your bill will look like. Or if you'd like, you can compare. You can take your actual bill, plug in the numbers, and compare that way on what your savings have been.
Awesome. So you can run some hypotheticals, what if you got a pool, what's your energy going to change, that sort of thing. So that tool was very cool. When you had that up there, I was like, oh, wow. I wish I lived in Wildomar so that I could participate. No, that was really, really neat. All right. Well, that's kind of all the questions that I could think of when watching the presentation. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I just wanted to appreciate you for inviting us to this Learn It Live. This is a really great opportunity. And if anyone has any questions that, maybe too shy to mention it right now, please don't hesitate to shoot me a call or an email directly. Thank you very much for putting that back up there. Those are our direct numbers, and we would be happy to answer any of your questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We got a great job from Jennifer Sevilla, who was watching. So thanks, Jen. And for those watching, if you know somebody who lives in Wildomar or has business in Wildomar, please send them a link to this presentation so that they can kind of get a greater understanding of this new program that affects them. So thanks everybody for watching. We really appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you all. Have a great one.